wanting that person of Christ to come back in all security, that myself and all those sitting around me that I care for are right where they need to be too. And we're just going to shift gears, grab the next one, and keep moving for an eternity. And whatever relationships from last week that you have going on right now, whatever that is, however that looks, if you can just imagine, no, you can't, that it's that much better, that's what you can expect. An eternity of enhanced relationships that don't require anything. They don't require anything. And you will recognize the people. But we don't want to get into the exact mechanism of all that, because anybody that tells you they've got that figured out is reading a different Bible than I am. And so we don't know how. We just know that Paul writes that, that at that moment the dead in Christ will rise and the people of Christ will gather in his church and they'll be in the clouds with him. If everybody got that image in your brain? There's one. Christ to the thief on the cross, today you'll be with me in paradise. We say something about the bodily resurrection. We know that we will not be like this. That this what is sown is perishable, what is raised is imperishable. So we don't know what we're going to look like, but I'm going to be cute. Count on it. I'm counting on it. I'm not cute as one right now. We do not live to ourselves. We do not die to ourselves. If we live to the Lord. If we die to the Lord. So then whether we live or whether we die, we're the Lord's. What difference does it make? Living, dying, it's all the same thing. One of the things that I know is that I've come to realize is that there are certain people that are really, really smart. They call them theologians. And one of our modern-day theologians that we have is a guy that's German, and his name is Jürgen Moltmann. And he's required reading for every seminary student that goes there. He wrote that book there called Theology of Hope. You can't be unhappy and read that book, because he sees things, the kingdom of heaven, in ways that we don't. He's German, he has a thick German accent, and sometimes what he says is really hard to understand, and so I'm going to add it to it as we watch this. I want you to listen to 2 minutes of Jürgen Moltmann in the book of Peter.
Christians live always in Advent, in the expectation of the future of Christ. And the admonition in the New Testament is not pray, but pray and watch. Pray and watch. And so you must pray with open ears. And open eyes to watch the signs of Christ coming.
What should we look for?
Not for catastrophes.
Not
I
catastrophes.
found sometimes in the south of the United States, Christ is coming, expect earthquakes, diseases, etc. No, I expect miracles.
Miracles.
The miracles of the kingdom.
What would a miracle look like?
The unexpected. And if you don't expect the unexpected, you will not find it. We don't expect the miracles, and therefore we don't see them. They are all around us.
See the miracle? So instead of looking for catastrophe, leprosies, instead of looking for diseases, instead of looking for all this stuff that's gone, the signs that the kingdom is getting nearer and nearer is miracles. And so as I walked to church this morning, I thought, am I one of those people who just don't see it? That I can walk all around me and don't see the miracles of the kingdom that's coming? And so as I turned the corner down there, I thought I seen my own one for just a second. Because I looked to the south and the mountains and how they were rocks that had been pushed right out of the ground. And to the northwest a little bit, you see the flat top mesa and you think, how many years would it take a man to do that? To flatten it off like that. And I think, that's a miracle. And then I looked at this idea that this flowers growing out of the curbs, you know, or a saguaro growing straight out of a rock down in Tucson. You see them all a lot. And you wonder, how could something that heavy hold itself up sideways coming straight out of a rock? And then you have to believe that's only by a miracle could that happen. And then I'm looking at this anthill down there that is just so perfectly shaped that exists. And they built that without ever talking to each other. We couldn't get 2 stones moved without talking to each other, I can tell you that. I think you get it. So if liturgy, if worship is work of the people, that's kind of what it translates to rather loosely, it's work of the people. What if we said that liturgy was work for the people? Work for the people. Now worship becomes public work. And so we start to think about what would it look like if we helped build those signs of the kingdom that people that walk through your church doors are looking for. Is the kingdom in here? Is the kingdom on this campus someplace? Is God's kingdom revealed in the people that come here? Because are there any miracles taking place here? So we think about this. The good news of the passage today, the very last words that Christ spoke. By your endurance you will gain your lives. And so we know that just by persevering through the catastrophes, through all the rest of the stuff, the diseases and all the stuff that comes with it, that if you stay steadfast in Christ's love with that, then when I return, I'll fix all the stuff that's been messed up in your life. I will fix that. But you have to make sure that you demonstrate the signs of the kingdom to others. And so, one of the things that I looked at was this week was this idea by a person by the name of Candy Chang. Candy Chang is a public works person. She's done a lot of different things, and you probably have seen them on TED Talks, some of the things she's interested in. But she takes public buildings that are dilapidated, run down, and she turns them into things, such as the building you're going to see. She takes a building like this, and she turns it into something like this, the next one. Yeah, you can't read that on there. But if you could, it's a public forum. It used to be a dilapidated building. Now it's a public forum. And what's on there, it says, show the next one. Before I die, I want to. It's a way to communicate with people without communicating with people. We don't talk to our neighbors much anymore, but you could, if we had a space or a place where you walked into this sanctuary, and we had a bunch of sticky pads, and it said at the top, before I die, I want to, instead of just asking them, you know, is there something you want to accomplish? How about they write it down and we have a board someplace where we stick those on? Some of the things that stuck out to me: sing to millions, plant a tree. For somebody that lives in Detroit, that's a big deal. There's no green space in Detroit. Finish school, do a cartwheel. Is that one of you guys? I see that. Hold her one more time. straddle the international date line, live off the grid, see equality, be completely myself. Yeah. Be someone's Calvary. Follow my childhood dreams. It's about knowing that you're not alone. See, if we start thinking about our death, if we start thinking about our mortality, if we start thinking about real seriously about what happens when I'm gone, what happens when I'm no longer here, what happens to the people around me when I'm at. But if we start doing that and really focusing on our death, it will bring our life into crystal clarity. And we will start to focus intently on that which is what's important, and let the rest of the stuff fall off to the side. That's kind of important for us, because now the church can be freed up to do what it needs to do, because we're not bound by the rest of this stuff. What if we had a board out there on our new pavilion that says that was something to the effect, right at the top, would you please pray for me, I need. And just left it out there. See, who would do that? Who would write something on it and stick it in a box out there? Our neighbors. And would somebody be willing to go out there and empty that box every day and say, yes, I'll pray for you? This is what Candy Chang does. She finds ways to communicate without speaking to anybody, through the written word, and turning places that are dilapidated into forums, a way to communicate. So we ought to be thinking about that. I've done this before, one other time, where we said, what would happen if we had a place where we could do that? Before I die, I want to. And just share your ideas. Good table talk. Really good table talk. So as we think about that, and we think about how death brings our life into clarity, Advent shouldn't scare us. Thinking about these end times, the times when Christ returns, or even the fact that maybe we're going to die before that happens, because we live in these bodies that are built to wear out, kind of like our cell phones. They're outdated when we get them. Even when they're brand new, they're on their way out. And we know that. But think about those things. Think about those things. When Christ said this, he didn't say what he said so that people could do whatever they want to do. He said this to be a comfort to you. Expect these things. Expect them. They're going to happen. But you're going to endure. And if you endure, you've saved your soul. So all you have to do is live through them, and you know that they're coming. Hard times are coming. But focus on what's important. Your families around you. Because this is what I hear. We talked a little bit in lectionary about, we've had these anecdotal stories of people when they die, the light at the end of the tunnel, this presence, this comfort and peace that they feel. What would happen if you felt it now? Greater things. Greater things. So, as we move through Advent, and we keep lighting these candles, each week, the reality is we get closer to our death. And the reality also is, as we get closer to that time, Christ will come again. It shouldn't scare you. So let's prepare. Let's get into the Advent season and think about the joy, love, peace, hope, and all those things that we're going to do, and how that relates to your life and the person sitting next to you, or the one that used to sit next to you that's no longer there. Don't worry about the Thessalonians text. That'll take care of itself. But as we start thinking about what's important in our lives, and where we're at and where we're headed, don't be afraid of the gospel. It's good news. Thank you, God.
Oh